I'm your host, John Myers, live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody. Gotta have my notes. It's John Myers from the Kicker UnMasked Studios. Gotta have my notes. Alternator. Hey, everybody. We have fun. Hey, everybody. Hit like and subscribe. Right here, right now. It's John Myers. We like to give stuff away. Alternator. Post some more pictures. We got to thank Steve and Becky live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Don't forget Texas Roadhouse right here, right now. Hey, everybody. Don't forget right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. Had a great dinner tonight. It's John Myers. Right here, right now. Had a great dinner tonight. So, hey, everybody. So, housekeeping. Had a great dinner tonight. So, alternator. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. 7:30 on Tuesday night. Housekeeping. From the Kicker UnMasked Studios. Housekeeping. Right here, right now. Hey, everybody. So, it's John Myers. Hey, everybody. It's John Myers from the Kicker UnMasked Studios. Hey, everybody. From the Kicker UnMasked Studios. It's John Myers. Right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody. Right here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here tonight. It must be 7:30 on Tuesday because we are here live hanging out with you guys and girls. So tonight in the studio, we have the usual suspects. Mr. Stephen Baumbrau pointing cameras at me. We've got JW and Ernie back in the booth making us look good. And of course, the sheriff, Mr. Bill Frog, who is monitoring things on the internets and the webs. So thank you guys all for being here and joining us tonight. Also, you probably saw the promo. We have Carlos, Mr. Carlos Jimenez is going to be in the house tonight. He's going to be hosting. So we're going to bring him in just a few minutes. But first, a special guest has stopped by to say hello. That is Bryan Schmitt from MasterTech Expo. That is his event that's coming up. And we want to spend a few minutes with Bryan talking about his event and how Kicker is going to be involved with that. So without further ado, I don't know what that really means, but without further of that, we're going to bring Bryan in. Bryan, are you ready to come in and talk to us?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good evening, Bryan. Thank you for being here, man. And I know short notice. Appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me. It's looks like you guys always do a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. We try hard and we fail often, but it still looks good, right? So MasterTech Expo is coming up in March. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's coming up quick. It's about 29 days away, and man, we're super excited. It's going to be incredible this year.
So you've got some headliner talent this year I've seen in your promo materials.
We do. There's quite a few different people coming. We've got Chip Foose back, which we're super excited about. Yeah. And he's going to be in a different capacity. He's actually going to be doing a drawing and design class and teaching ideation. And you get a little booklet that you get to draw on with him on stage. So it's going to be incredible.
Short story about Chip Foose. He came here to Kicker a few years ago, and he was just walking through the building saying hi, taking the tour. And of course, a lot of guys in this building are motorheads as well as audio guys, so they totally know who Chip Foose is. And so he would sit down at anybody's desk who had a few minutes, and he would just draw something. And it was like a photocopier. Boom. And everything was original. Everything was amazing. And the guy is just an incredible talent. And what a pleasure to get to work with that guy. And he's going to be on your stage and teaching classes.
Yeah, it is going to be incredible. And he's just a great human in general.
Yes.
So he's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's great. And of course, you also have one of my favorite personality heads of the industry. And who's that?
We've got Steve coming, Steve Irby.
Oh, yeah.
He is also an incredible human. And when I came out there to see you guys last year, I got to have a chat with him in his office. And what a great guy and amazing story as well.
Yes. And like you said, a great human being. And today, actually, we did a groundbreaking for a new outdoor amphitheater entertainment district that Steve Irby and Kicker are the founders of this. And so we're actually going to be doing this massive project for the community of Stillwater, having a live sound stage with a nice green area and some play features for the kids and a water park and all sorts of fun stuff. And that's because of his generosity of spirit and talent.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. I'll have to come see it next time I'm out.
Oh, yes. We're looking to be ready to go live in spring of 2025. So put it in your calendar. We'd love to have you.
That's great.
So back to you now. Enough about me. Back to you. So MasterTech Expo. I've got some of your slides. Can I pull those up so you can kind of talk the audience through what's going to happen?
Yeah, let's just show these guys real quick.
Okay.
Some people have been to our event, and some people maybe have heard about it, and some people have no idea. But it is an incredible learning experience, and just the value of the presenters and all the stuff that we're offering is, I think, world class. We just want every minute of your time fully captivated in training, in networking. We feed you the whole time. It's just a lot of fun. So.
One of the things that I really appreciate about your event is, as you pointed out, the diversity of what is offered. It's not just car audio. There's also high-end fabrication. You've got a lot of specialty on upholstery and just sort of next level kind of things that some guys like me, I'm an audio guy, I don't know how to upholster anything, and that's the kind of thing I can learn at your event. So that's really fantastic.
Yeah, keeping it diverse and kind of all skill sets, everything from business to sales to high-end audio to technology. We're teaching digital classes and then fabrication and upholstery. And that's kind of everything what we do, right?
Yeah.
And I tell you, we've got some of the best presenters on the planet sharing their secrets and tricks at the event.
Oh, that's a great value. And hey, Ernie, I've got the slides pulled up here. Can you share that with the audience? There we go.
Yeah, so there you go. It's March 3rd through the 6th, and it's right here in Mesa, Arizona, which is next to Tempe and Phoenix, so you can fly into the main airport in Sky Harbor. There's actually a little tram that goes from the airport all the way out to Mesa, and it's fantastic. But you can see some of the energy in those slides.
Yes.
Our show, nobody can deny that the energy, it is not like any other show that you go to. You just don't walk up and down and see the booths and then you're like, okay, let's go. It's high energy because there's competitions, there's things happening, there's machines 3D printing and cutting in every booth, and just a lot of stuff going on. So there's definitely keeps you captivated in your interest levels very high throughout the show. Yeah, and this gives you an idea of the diversity right there.
So you've got different tracks, kind of like going to college. You've got different tracks in which you can sort of put yourself and walk us through that just a little bit.
Yeah, I got another slide for this probably, but there's 9 different tracks, and they all have different things. So you basically pick a day 1 would be Monday, and a day 2 is your second day, and there's 4 courses within that. So you kind of pick one lane and then you go deep into it. And that's why we have 4 sessions that cascade and they build upon each other. So the complexity increases throughout the day. By the end of the day, you're fully immersed in that one topic. And that's, I think, the difference in the education is it's super deep and narrow. And that's why you get to choose. You get to pick what you want. You're not jumping around doing this or that. We have a beautiful networking party and then all this stuff kind of sprinkled in there. And hey, who doesn't like to have the food part of the deal? We don't want you to leave. It is part of the tuition because we want you there and you stay on campus. And it's just, I mean, you had the food, Aaron. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's, so
that's a really good point because with a lot of events that we do, you have to leave to eat, and it breaks some of that momentum, some of that energy that you're talking about. And so to feed us there, we're having those quality conversations all day, even when we're eating. So it's a great way to do it.
Yep, that's right. And so yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's also other, fun categories. We even challenge the manufacturers to have the best booth experience or the best sounding vehicle or even their training. And that's by people's choice. And so we've got those huge big ribbons like you'd see on a car at Christmas time. Everybody, the winners get that and some notoriety. It's be a lot of fun. And then we also have other awards that we're giving out on the next slide for, technicians, for top fabricator, the top audio guy, even clean wire, a future tech. And of course, we got to give a lifetime achievement award for someone who really gives back. So all this is part of just us giving back to the industry and kind of showing our gratitude to the top talent.
Yeah, and it's important to point out at this part too is that there are also entry-level guys and girls coming to these events. You don't have to be the best of the best to show up at this. You can be just starting out in your career. Like you and I have talked a lot about Skills USA, and some of the young men and women from Skills USA, they are just starting, literally getting out of college, and they're getting ready for their first job, and they can attend this and get something out of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. We have different levels of classes too. There's boot camp classes, perfect for what you're talking about. And hey, we'd love to see a future tech, someone young coming up through the ranks. That really is our future. Don't you agree?
Yes.
I mean, we need the young blood to kind of follow and bring, that enthusiasm and keep our industry going, keeping it strong.
I need someone to take over when I retire, and Carlos is not that far behind me, so that's why Jacob's part of our team, because he's half my age. I could be his dad. So yeah, we need some young blood in here.
That's awesome. Yeah, so here's just a quick shot of the show floor. Half of it's inside and half of it's outside, and you guys actually have a booth in both areas, right?
Nice.
I think. Tell us some of the stuff you guys. You're bringing a very special vehicle.
Oh,
I think it's red and loud.
Oh, dude. So today at this groundbreaking we did downtown Stillwater, we brought the Bronco out. And of course, most people in Stillwater, they've heard of Kicker, they kind of know who we are, but they don't really know what it is that we do. And so after the groundbreaking was done, Roger Demery, one of our directors of marketing, he found this young lady. I think she was a reporter, a local paper reporter. She said, "Hey, you want to do a hair trick in the Bronco?" And of course, hair trick, what does that mean? So he sets her in the Bronco. And Chase fires it up. And of course, she's going, "What is that?" And she's trying to talk like this.
Oh my goodness.
It was fantastic. We set off 4 car alarms, 8 blocks away. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, the Bronco's going to be there.
Good. Good. Hey, we're ready. I hope you set off more.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, you guys are coming in with lots and lots of cool displays and vehicles and also training too, right?
Yes. Yeah, John Myers and Jacob Lucky are going to be there and staff. And John, actually, he's working. I think he's working tonight. Yeah, it's only 7:40 p.m. I think he's working tonight on this. He's building different enclosures so that he can talk about the difference in subwoofer design enclosures, and then you can hear them. And that's a big part of what you do really well, Bryan, is that you make it an experience where it's not just theory, it's how does it really work in the real world. And so John's going to be doing some demonstrations of different enclosures.
I think that's the best way to teach, is seeing it and then, hearing it and you believe it.
Yes.
You can see the science in action, and I think that's powerful. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. And really, at the end of the day, everything that you and I do, it's all entertainment. Because when you buy a car or truck, it comes with a radio and 4 speakers. It comes with a motor. It comes with 4 seats or more. So when you buy it, it's done, right? Well, no. This is where we go to the next level. And so we get to have that experience. And people love what we do because we're bringing so much passion and excitement, not just in audio, but in just the fit and finish and the details of those installations.
Absolutely. People love music, cars, and gadgets, and taking that to the next level it's what we're all about. So
quick, remind the audience, how many years have you been in the industry?
Oh geez, it's been over 30 years. I know I look so young. How could you tell?
Wow, and you've worked with the biggest brands, the biggest names, the biggest talents in the industry for a long time.
Oh yeah, friends with everybody, and I just love our community, and our industry is the best. It's not normal on our how we get along. We share stories and help each other go to the next level. That is just not normal in other industries. So.
My first show, I was working for Polk Audio way back in another lifetime, and my very first show, I was terrified to be sitting next to all these other high-quality vendors because I thought it was all rivalry. I thought it was all like this, and I was shocked to find out that it's not. It's everybody helping everybody. Hey, I blew a fuse. You got a fuse? I got a fuse for you. Hey, I need a screwdriver. You got a screwdriver? I got a screwdriver for you. Everybody helping everybody. And that's just a wonderful thing to have.
It is. It's great. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So.
Well, like Ernie likes to say, this beats working for a living.
I love that. True. Yeah. We're just having fun.
Yes. So any final thoughts? Anything else we should talk about before we let you get back to work?
Yeah, we actually, we'd love to see you guys there. It's going to be a fantastic show. Check out the website. I think we can do a slide or something on the end. But we always like to give away, some stuff too. I don't know if that's cool. If I could just maybe share that with you guys. I mean, we just
give something away tonight.
Yeah, is that cool? I mean,
dude, our audience loves free stuff.
Well, if you guys follow us, then you know what this template is. This is the newest template that we have. It's an aggressive, like a Lamborghini-ish design, and it's called our Velocity template. And I would love to give this to somebody on the show. So, and I actually have kind of a finished prop of it to give you an idea of what is possible. I mean, you can see the dimension, but that template built this. And it's so easy to do when you got the right stuff. And you can change it up. You can overlay them. So it doesn't always have to look like this. You can use parts and pieces. It's endless, but it just saves time and it gives you that clean geometry. So we'd love to give that away.
That's incredible, Bryan. Because I'm curious, what would that thing cost if someone wanted to buy it from you?
It's like $100. $100 template. Yeah.
And that you're giving that away tonight for free.
Yep. Yeah,
all right.
Let's do it.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, Bryan, we'll just add that to our regular contest. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, we'd love to help.
So our grand prize winner tonight gets, what's it called officially?
Velocity template.
Velocity template. Yeah. Okay, so the grand prize winner. Jeremy, write that down. Tonight's winner gets the Velocity template as well as the other normal prizes. And wait, Bryan, we have a question from the audience too. Hold on one more second. We got a question. Question is, how much is a ticket to the expo if you're a shop owner? I'm assuming it's not open to the public.
It is actually open to the public, but it's $7.99 for a regular ticket. But we do have some other stuff for owners. So if you guys want to message us, we can help you guys out. If you're an owner, we do have a special kind of different paths for you guys and different classes as well. So we'd love to help you out. Yep.
And how can he get a hold of you? Just go to your website?
Yeah, go to
Contact?
the website. Yep. Or you can private message me too on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. I'm happy to help. Yeah,
awesome.
Everybody's welcome though. It's just a dealer or industry. If you're a serious fabricator, builder, you love your craft and you want to go to the next level, hey, we'd love to have you. But it's MasterTechExpo.com.
That's a great point that we didn't talk about earlier, is that it's open to everybody, not just industry people. And that's really a nice touch, because a lot of the folks that are watching the show are not in the industry. They're just fans of the industry, consumers.
Yeah, that's
awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Bryan. Appreciate your time tonight. We loved having you. And we will see you at MasterTech Expo. And we're going to give away your Velocitor tonight.
Okay. See you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you, Bryan. Good night. All right, friends and fans, we're going to take a 30 to 60 minute, whoa. I'm going to take a nap for 60 minutes? No, I'm just kidding. 60 seconds, let's do 60 seconds. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring Carlos out here to take over the show tonight, and we'll be right back.
It's been a long road since the original kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is kicker.
Music is my passion, my livelihood, and it's in my DNA. My pals at Kicker Marine Audio gave me a chance to take the music, what I love and listen to, at home, on stage, and in the car, onto the water. Hi, this is Jason Bonham, and I want to say a big thank you to my friends at Kicker Audio for inspiring the songs and the stories behind the music that inspires America. Go overboard! This is your time.
Something bad, your hands on the wheel, got a sexy touch. It's enough to make me and my Chevy blush. So long. Take it off with that highway. Turn me on, I'll let you drive, baby. You can take it fast as you want to. Dirty little dirty looks damn good on you. Start me up, Stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Don't waste your way in the wrong way. Get off on some 4x4 play.
Welcome back, guys. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Carlos. Something about me, I've been with the company since 2014 in the training department. If you haven't been through a training with me, this is going to be a really cool story for you guys. So trainings, we have a lot of fun, right? I do great, I think. And nobody would ever lie to me, right?
No.
But for some reason, Ernie gets on me whenever we do videos. I don't smile, supposedly. So my smile is very elusive. It's like one of those urban legends, right? Like vampires, no reflection. That's kind of my smile, guys. So I'm going to start a game tonight. All right? So whenever I get a smile, or you think I get a smile, you guys mark it down, because everybody thinks I come close to a smile, but I look very upset. So the whole thing about it started in Miami when we did a boat show. I talked to somebody who was our boss when we were at dinner, and we talk about how I came dangerously close to a smile. And we joked, and one of the guys that was with us is like, "Hey, Carlos, tell a joke." And he's recording me as I'm talking about this joke, right? And he puts his phone down. He's like, "This is crazy, man. I'm watching you tell a joke, you're smiling, but for some reason, you look really upset on the video." And we watch it. I'm like, "I'm telling you guys, it's like a vampire."
Yes.
So please mark them down, because we want to count them at the end of the night. And then these guys are going to pay me for every smile I come close to.
You're getting paid to smile? So am I getting paid to frown?
I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out, right? We got to find your little tick thing,
my
right?
thing, yeah. Okay.
Well, let's start off with these speakers, guys. Let's talk about their new KSS three-way components. These are really cool. Very excited to have these out. Aaron's gonna open the 6x9s. I'm gonna open the 6.5s. Obviously what you're gonna get, KS 6.5 or a 6x9. These are really cool. They're gonna fit in the majority of vehicles without any brackets or without any modification to the doors, right? These are designed to fit. If you look at the boxes say designed to fit. So if you look at them, they're not gonna be really huge, not very big magnets. Why is that important, Aaron? Why aren't we doing these speakers with these huge magnets that weigh 50 pounds and say 850 watts?
So in my previous life that I mentioned earlier, there was a company back then, I think they're out of business now, and they made a 4x6 speaker whose magnet was as big as the 4x6 cutout. So you had this monster magnet on a 4x6 speaker that would not fit in most 4x6 locations.
Ridiculous. And think about the mounting.
Yes. So it was all about, oh, big magnet is better. And as we talked about John Myers, bigger doesn't mean better. You have to know what you're doing with that magnetic force. So we have optimized these magnets to give you the most strength where you need it in a small package. So these speakers will perform with fantastic mid-bass, mid-range response, but the window will still roll all the way down and all the way back up again. And so that's part of what makes these speakers special is, yes, they're high quality, they sound fantastic, but you know what? If they don't fit where they're supposed to fit, no one's gonna buy them.
That is such a good point. I remember back in my retail days when we would sell a customer a brand system, right? And everything's done except for the door speakers. And we have to call a customer, hey, listen, I know I sold you this brand, the system, but the door speakers just don't fit. Whether the magnet's too big, the windows won't go up or down, or the factory grill won't go back on. Now you got to sell them something else, and then they're like, do I get my money back?
What's going on?
How are you going to make it work? I mean, you told me that this brand was better than everybody else. So it's a really big deal to make sure that they fit. And like my friend up in California was talking about, it's his Saturday night speakers.
What?
The KS speakers are his Saturday night speakers because he doesn't want to have to do anything custom. He just wants to sell the speaker and let that customer go. So it's easy for him to not even worry about it. He knows it's going to fit every single time. So what else comes in these speaker boxes?
So before we get off of the mid-range mid-bass driver, we've got the adapters included. So if you've got a Chevy product, a GM, a Toyota, a Ford, whatever it is that's got a bi-9 in the door, it's gonna fit because we include the adapter to go with it, as well as the 6.5. So whether or not you're buying the 6x9 or the 6.5 inch, you're getting all the adapters necessary, so you don't gotta buy extra stuff for Saturday night.
So you're telling me you don't need 3 different brackets just for every brand. One bracket does it all, huh?
It's included.
Man, it's so easy.
ShamWow.
Does everything for you, right? So 2 3/4 inch speaker, because we know most of these factory speaker locations are 2 3/4. So for example, like I remember back in the day when I had a 96 Eclipse, Mitsubishi Eclipse, that I had to make a bracket for a tweeter up on the dash where something like this we could have used back in the day. There's many cars like that now where, for example, I had a friend who, he's got an Equinox, and that Equinox has a 2 3/4 inch up on the door. He got a set of components put in, and he's like, there's something missing, man.
Yes.
I'm missing audio. What's going on? He added an amplifier. He did everything. He spent an extra $2,000 to make sure he got that sound. It still didn't come back until he got the 2 3/4.
So this is the bracket. Whoops, I did it wrong. This is the bracket that you're talking about. This allows the 2 3/4 inch to drop into any factory 2 3/4 inch opening, whether it's a Subaru, a Toyota, the Chevy products, whatever it is. We have these different brackets that will work with any of those applications, and they're all included. Once again, everything's in the box. The reality is you're probably going to throw away more of the adapters than you actually use. Sorry about that, but they're all there, and you don't got to pay extra for them. So this is just a great solution for that application. And like your friend, that experience your friend talked about, if you take out a 2 3/4 inch driver and replace it with a 1 inch tweeter, you probably just downgraded your audio experience because you're actually losing cone area. You're losing frequency bandwidth. So that's why we have these three-way component systems. So you still get the 2 3/4 inch mid-range and the 1 inch soft dome tweeter.
So again, the brackets are going to go for GM, Chrysler products, so Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Toyota, Subaru.
Yeah.
Anywhere else? Anything else I'm forgetting?
I don't think Kia is using a 2 3/4 inch at this point. So
I don't think so.
Everywhere you've got a 2 3/4 inch, we've got the bracket included.
All right, what else? How about the tweeters? What size tweeters we looking at?
1 inch silk dome tweeter.
So that KS speaker that everyone knows and loves.
Correct.
I got your Todd Pod.
Oh, you got my Todd Pod. Okay. Todd, if you're watching, thank you for the Todd Pod. So the story behind the Todd Pod, it's not actually called the Todd Pod. But we had an engineer, mechanical engineer, his name was Todd, and he was working with us a few years ago when we were working on this product. And the way that he tested the Todd Pod was he bolted these onto his pickup and he drove up and down dirt roads. And he wanted to make sure that the pod was not going to adjust or shift under heavy vibration. So that's why we call it the Todd Pod, because he was instrumental in designing this and the testing of it. So this is a fantastic way to mount a tweeter. This can be surface mounted, it can be done on a dash, it could be on an A-pillar. Basically anywhere you don't have a factory tweeter, you can use this. Or if you do have a factory tweeter, but you just don't care for the location or the way the aiming of the tweeter, you could add this to it as well, and that's included in the package.
So we got flush mount brackets, we got all the traditional mounting options for the tweeters, but we also give you the Todd Pod, which is really cool, and you can put this just about anywhere. What else? Crossovers. Why are we using inline crossovers instead of those huge crossovers that don't fit indoors? Why can't we just make amp racks for crossovers in the trunk of cars?
So you were in retail back when the original SS series speakers came out.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes,
they had
I love
that
those.
beautiful briefcase.
Yeah.
Came with that nice big round crossover. Well, the crossover was beautiful, high quality, great quality components, but it wouldn't actually fit through the opening that the speaker fit in.
But they were beautiful. they were great.
So as an installer, you had to customize the install just to make this crossover work. Now, nothing against big crossovers, because the QS series, the components we have now, they got a big crossover, and it serves a purpose. It's beautiful. The problem is it's really challenging to install, and if you're in a smaller vehicle, you don't have a lot of space to work with, this is so much more convenient. So what we include is a low pass for the 6x9 or 6.5. We have a high pass for the 2 3/4, and then another high pass for the 1 inch tweeter. So it is truly a three-way system with a three-way crossover. And the reason you have to have so many crossover components is because the final load at the amplifier or the radio is still 4 ohms. If you didn't have the three-way crossover, you wouldn't have a final impedance of 4 ohms, and that's what we need.
They're very dummy-proof. I cannot mess this up, guys. I mean, big yellow tags with black writing, you cannot mess that up. So these are really cool. Very excited to see these guys in shops using these.
Oh, light bulbs.
Yes, that's right. I mean, okay, so I've noticed a lot of people talking about the older crossovers, right? Back in the day where they would have a light show. A lot of guys talking about that. Oh man, I used to love my kicker crossovers, especially because we get to go out and do retail trainings. And man, I love those kicker crossovers from back in the day because they'd give a light show. So whenever my highs would clisp, then I'd get a light show in my door panel or somewhere in my kick panel. Why don't we do that anymore, Aaron? Why don't we have the light show?
So what we're talking about is the illuminated, what is it, ICP, illuminated...
Insane Clown Posse.
I forget, not Clown Posse. I forget the acronym. But essentially, we would use a light bulb in the crossover, and its purpose was to protect the tweeter from clipping, from direct current, from distortion. And so if your LED, or excuse me, if your light bulb was lighting up, it's because you were clipping the output of your amplifier, and it was protecting that tweeter from that additional heat. And so that's what that was for. So if your door was lighting up or your amp rack was lighting up, flashing with the music, that's actually a bad thing.
That was your check engine light.
That was your check engine light. So what we're doing now, where will you put these away?
Oh,
so what we're doing now, instead of that, we still have tweeter protection, but what we're doing now is using what's called a thermistor which is essentially a heat-activated resistor. And so it's in line with the tweeter. And when you do start clipping your amplifier, it simply turns that energy into heat in the thermistor, not in the voice coil of your tweeter, thereby protecting your tweeter. Now let's talk about tweeter.
That's a smile.
That was creepy. I thought you were bringing some Herkimer energy or something. Right. So speaking of Herkimer, where is Herkimer tonight?
He went to work.
He went to work. We'll come back to Herkimer. Where was? Oh yeah, thermistor. So talk about that marine install.
Okay, so we get this a lot, right? This last time we're talking to a customer, marine install, and he'd be talking about, man, when I get out on the water, for some reason, I have to turn it up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I wonder why. Right. I got to turn it up a little bit more, but for some reason, my highs will shut off. Mm-hmm. So why are the highs shutting off? I mean, this is great for us. I love these interactions with these customers because that's our job to educate, right? Yes. So why are the highs shutting off, Aaron?
It's the thermistor. It's that built-in tweeter protection. So when that customer's radio or his speakers were cutting out, what was happening was the thermistor was getting so hot that it wasn't just reducing the power of the tweeter, it was actually shutting the tweeter off. Now when you turn the volume down and the thermistor cools off, it goes back to full volume again for that tweeter. So again, we're just protecting the tweeter from that, I don't want to say abusive customer, but maybe that 7 beer customer. Right. Everything sounds better with 7 beers. So that's what's built in.
I look better after 7 beers. I think I become a better dancer.
Absolutely, I've seen it. So that's what's going on. That's how we protect the tweeters in these systems.
All right, so what about KS speakers and CS speakers? Do we have any kind of protections like that? Because I run into that a lot. For some reason, I get sent to those inner cities, and I don't know, I guess I speak the language, right? But I deal with these customers that are talking about, hey man, whenever I turn up my sounds, and right when it's about to slap, the tweeter shut off, man. I can't hear it clisp. I'm not hearing clisping. Do we have that same protection on KS and CS speakers?
Yes, it's something that we use on all of our CS speakers and KS speakers. And it's just protection circuit. It does not change the sound quality at all. It just makes Kicker products more reliable. Because we know our customers are going to abuse our products. I mean, that's what we do. We like it loud, right? So that is why we have that.
No, we're living loud.
Oh, sorry. Good catch. So yeah, that's the story. KS, CS. Any questions? Do we have any questions on these speakers? I forgot to ask. I just get on a roll and we kind of forget about the questions. So, Carlos, why don't you take the first question?
All right, where is it? Can the component set be wired to 2-ohm stereo?
No, it cannot. We talked about the crossover. So the crossover itself, because you have 3 speakers, but they're all crossed over properly, your final impedance is going to be 4 ohms. Now, if you wired 2 sets in parallel, you would get down to 2-ohm stereo.
So it actually brings up a good point. I'm also asked that at stores, Aaron. Your guys' speakers are 4 ohm, other than your Power Sports speakers. Why aren't you guys using 2-ohm speakers?
Well, in the Power Sports application, the Harley factory speakers are 2 ohms in most instances. Some are not, but in most cases they're 2-ohm speakers.
To work with the OEM amplification.
Exactly. And so if you put a 4-ohm speaker in a 2-ohm OEM slot, you're going to reduce your output by about 3 dB, everything else being equal. So why would you want to go down in output, especially on a motorcycle? Well, you wouldn't. So that's why we offer them in 2-ohm. But in addition, depending on what amplifier you're using, sometimes you want to go to 2 ohms in stereo, sometimes you want to be at 4 ohm. So the most common car audio speakers are 4 ohm, and we want to make sure that our speakers are compatible with virtually any amplifier, whether it is stock or aftermarket, and so that's why we use most commonly 4 ohm speakers.
Well, and going back to the protections on the tweeters, I would say, guys, you guys run into that where your tweeters are shutting down or they're protecting themselves. Instead of cutting out the protection like some guys do and wire that tweeter directly, let's get an O-scope. If you don't have an O-scope, that's okay. We can go use a voltmeter. On our website, you guys can go to our website on the tech sheet or the tech site, and you can find out what the voltage is coming out of the amplifier that you need to set it up at to keep that your speaker, clean it, or get a clean signal coming out of your amplifier going straight to your speaker. So let's move on to the next speaker
That is a
or the
great
next
point.
box.
While you grab the other one, I'm going to pull up that tech brief you're talking about, because that is a super useful tool for our friends and neighbors.
Mr. Maley.
Oh, man.
Big fan.
Well, hello.
Can I get an autograph?
Oh, what?
Wait, what is that?
This is the new lit for 2024.
Oh,
Look
man.
at that.
Such an honor.
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to be signing autographs all year.
Oh,
Of
Eric,
course.
Myers doesn't even get interrupted during the show for an autograph.
Oh, I love my fans.
Just put #1 fan. Don't put my actual name.
There we go. That is your autograph, Mr. Bam Bro. Thanks for being here. What, I don't get a hug? Come on. And take your markers with you, man. Oh, my Lord.
So excited. He forgot his markers.
Security! What's going on here? All right, so, oh yeah, tech papers. So, Ernie, I'm going to pull up here. I want folks to see this amp output voltage chart. Can you pop this up real quick? This is what Carlos was talking about. And so if you've got a 4-ohm speaker, and let's say you want 65 watts going to your 4-ohm speaker, setting your output voltage of your amplifier to 16.12 volts AC at 4 ohms will give you 65 watts. So this is very, very useful when you're setting your gains for your speakers. Now let's say you've got a 100 watt by 4 amplifier, 100 watts per channel, 4 channels, and you've got a speaker rated at 65 watts. You can set your gain for 65 watts rather than 100 watts so that you get maximum performance out of that speaker without overdriving it. So that's one of the benefits of using this voltage chart. Thanks, Ernie. All right, next up.
All right. Let us talk about the
Power Sports.
KPX amplifier.
That's going to be in your intro rap music. That's going to be there.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
All right, so which one do you have?
I have the
you have the
KPX 501, the bass amp.
Gosh, you know, it's probably like my favorite thing when you open up a box, that this is the first thing you see. Stop.
Oh, yeah, stop.
Contact tech support. So, I mean, if you got something wrong and you haven't stopped and contacted tech support, contact tech support.
I'm thinking of that rapper of Vanilla Ice. Stop, collaborate, and listen.
I thought that was your favorite rapper, man.
That it?
So, KPX 304, amazing little amplifier. Why do we have these over our other power sports amplifiers, the PXA?
So the PXA, of course, are completely submersible. They're IP66 and IP67 rated. Now, real quick, the difference, IP66 means that product, that amplifier in this application, can handle a high-powered water stream jet without any water going inside the amplifier. IP67 means it is submersible. So there's some debate about, well, a higher number is better. Actually, it's not better, it's just different. So we went ahead and paid for the certification for IP66 and 67 so that you as a consumer know the amplifier is submersible, like our fish tank, and it is also water jet proof. So these amplifiers, the KPX, these are not built to the same stringent IP66 and 67.
Oh, thank you.
What is happening here?
Well, you took away my phone book. It's just making it look awkward. I mean, just like someone just commented over there that we look like it's the remake of the 80s classic movie Twins.
The Twins!
I guess I'm Danny DeVito, huh?
I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Danny.
I've completely lost track. Oh yeah, so these amplifiers are built to a different standard. These are weather resistant, so these are more applicable to like the fairing of a motorcycle or a side-by-side where you're not going under the water, where you are simply getting dirty and muddy and wet, but you're not submerging it. That's what these are really for, different application.
So really cool amps. I mean, these are designed to go behind fairings. You're going to get the same power as you would a PXA amplifier, but you're going to get a lot more flexibility in install. So again, they will fit behind fairings, in bag lids or in bags, wherever you need them on a bike without any problem. Again, you can use them for car applications.
Absolutely.
You can use them for outdoor applications, golf cart, whatever. Just know that these are not submersible. I mean, they can be submersed, but then they just become anchors.
Yeah, they're not going to come back. And to your point, actually, in a car audio application, if you need 300 watts of real power, but you don't have the space beneath your seats, maybe you got fully motorized seats, or maybe you don't want to take up the space in the back behind the seat of your pickup truck, you can put these in really small spaces like the glove box or up under the firewall. Anywhere that you can physically fit it, this will work because it doesn't need nearly as much heat flow as a more traditional, like a Class A/B amplifier. Because these are all Class D, high output, low current draw Class D amplifiers. So power output at 300.4 is 45 watts at 4 ohms. And how much at 2 ohms?
I think 75 watts at 2 ohms,
That's
right? And then you can bridge them?
Yep, it is bridgeable. In bridge mode, it's 150 by 2. So on a pair of 6x9s, wow, that's a ton of power.
KMXLs. Really good option on KMXL. Another cool thing about these is they got 40 volt inputs. Why in the world do I need 40 volt inputs?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So 40 volt input, which is on also the CXA amplifiers as well as the PXA, the 40 volt input simply means that we are compatible with virtually any factory installed radio or amplifier. So if you've got an existing factory amplified system, it might have a true 25 or even a 50 watt RMS output. Well, we can take that signal and go straight into the inputs of our amplifiers without needing an LOC or a line output converter, a high to low or a knockdown. All of those are referring to the same basic thing. Where in more traditional amplifiers, or even some of the much older kicker amplifiers, you couldn't put that 400 watt up to 400 watts at 4 ohms, that much signal into the amplifier, it would clip the inputs and make smoke, basically. So with these amplifiers, you can take that high voltage signal and go straight in. And a great application for that is the 500.1. This is the mono bass amplifier. So if you've got a factory installed subwoofer system like in an Audi or VW, you've got maybe a 200 watt amplifier, you can take that 200 watt signal and go straight into this amplifier, and now you've got 500 watts without having to use an LOC to go into the amplifier. So flexibility.
I know you and I have seen them, but I'm sure you guys have seen these too, where guys will take an LOC and put it to a factory amplified system. After like a couple days or maybe even a couple weeks, if you're lucky, it comes back and it's like
melted.
Yeah, like my kids like to eat chicharron, right? It's like, it looks like a piece of pork rind, right? It's all black and charred up. So this eliminates having to use an LOC. So a lot of times guys love doing LOCs. Back in the day when I was installing, back in late 90s, early 2000s, LOCs were the way to go if you wanted to use the factory radio. Do we want to go with LOCs now?
If you can avoid it, absolutely not. In fact, if you guys have heard of Steve Mead, SMD, he's got a great series of videos where he compares LOCs from a bunch of different brands, and he absolutely loves the kicker, the Kiss Lock, which is our very inexpensive small 2-channel LOC. And it's very traditional, it's non-powered, but it's very high quality. Input and output voltage is stable and flat frequency response. With a lot of inexpensive LOCs, they actually roll off the high frequencies and the low frequencies. So the signal coming in is not the same signal coming out. So if you do have to use an LOC for whatever reason, be sure to get a high quality one like a Kicker Kiss Lock.
So the stronger the signal going into the amplifier, the better.
Yes.
So you don't have to turn up the gain as much. You don't get a lot of engine noise. I mean, this is all stuff we've talked to you guys about the past, but I like to throw it in here and there. And even though we're not ragging on LOCs. LOCs are great. You know, they have their purpose.
Yeah.
We make some too.
We do.
But if we can avoid having to use them, let's not use them. Go straight to the amplifier. It's just one extra part you don't need, right? One extra part that can go wrong.
Actually, Carlos, real quick before we move on, you have this great training that you do talking about all the parts that you need to make a traditional non-kicker amplifier work with a factory installed system. And then you compare that with using kicker fit technology, and that is a great training to run through. Maybe you could do like a really short version of it for our guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a really good example. Having 40 volt in without having to go use an LOC, saving you 50 to 80 bucks depending on which LOC you're going to use, right? Also, DC offset on these have changed to 2.5 volts. Why do we need 2.5 volts versus a 6 volt DC offset? Well, most of these new cars now have changed their DC offsets, or sometimes they send the signal, instead of on both and negative, just send it on one after a certain time, or you bring the volume down. So what ends up happening is if you're using DC offset as your turn on, you hit a certain volume on your radio, that DC offset will shut off after some time. So 2.5 volt DC offset, it just saves you money, right? It saves you having to buy extra parts. You could save up to 80 to 100 bucks just in extra parts by buying a good quality amplifier that has all the technology built into it. So again, we talk about this a lot, that yes, we're selling technology, we're selling amps, we're selling technology. That's what our guys in R&D do. That's why we have so many guys in R&D here working on stuff, so that we can keep up with the times. We're not selling 1980s technology, rebadging it. We're selling technology for today, for today's applications. So another cool thing on these that we didn't mention is that 501 has a bass knob input. So you can use your CX-ARC, so now you don't have to rely on just the volume for your bass. You have a volume knob, CX-ARC. But isn't gain volume?
Oh, come on now. There's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, that may be another show, right?
Well,
setting gains.
actually, the last show that I did with Jacob, we went through gain setting on that rig that he built for the competition, Skills USA competition. And we talked a lot about gain and how to set it properly. So that was a fantastic show. If you didn't see that show and you're curious about how to set gains, go back to that show. And I think it was about almost 14 or 15 minutes into it, we started doing gain setting using a multimeter, a test tone, and you didn't have to use an oscilloscope, and you could properly set the gains. And it's really a great video.
So plug and play kits. Who likes plug and play? And who likes to hardwire stuff in? I'm too old for that stuff, man. So this is actually the Harley kit, right? This is going to be the Harley kit. You guys see how nervous I am? I'm messing around. Okay, this one's actually for the Road Glide. So we have a kit for a Harley Road Glide and one for a Street Glide. These are going to be for 2014 and up. So what you're going to get in here is what you're seeing. You're going to get a 304, just in a white box. You're going to get the harness. 304 you guys saw earlier today. That's your harness. It's going to go to the battery. It's going to go to your speaker outputs. Everything is just plug and play. If you look at the plugs, so this is something I learned from Joe. All the information, all the cool stuff that he learned from GM using the GM plugs, this is what he's using, high quality plugs to plug in to your Harley Davidson. Everything just plugs right in. It's snug, it's fit. You don't have to worry about corrosion. Everything is done right. We spend extra money and extra time to do it right. So our guy that works with the Harley stuff is a Harley type guy. He's
Joe Gross.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
He is not a pencil pusher trying to play Harley guy.
Yeah.
He is a Harley guy.
So this bracket here, this is part of the magic of this kit, because this bracket mounts to the amplifier, but then it also uses the Harley factory mounting points above the radio. So now the amplifier is mounted directly above the radio using factory bolts. So you actually don't have to drill any holes. You don't have to add any screws. You're simply using what's already there and mounting the amplifier securely. And then, as Carlos said, you then simply plug the harness into the amplifier and run it around the bike, and basically it plugs in and it just works. So if you are a gearhead kind of guy, you could do this yourself in probably 30 minutes or less. If you're me, maybe 2.5, 4 days, but because I'm not really a gearhead. But that'll definitely make your install simpler. And this amplifier is 4-channel, and this kit comes with 2 speakers.
Well, hold on, you messed up my segue, man.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so here, let's start all over.
Sorry.
Let's rewind it. So Aaron, we're using a 4-channel amplifier and we only see 2 speakers there. What's up with the next 2 channels?
Well, so, this is what we sometimes lovingly refer to as a dummy load. Now, we don't mean dumb as in stupid. We mean that there are no brains in here, there's no smarts, it's just a resistive load. And this is really important to understand. I'll take away all the fun for just a second. This is important to understand that Class D amplifiers need to see some sort of a load. If they don't see a load, then they have a tendency to get really hot and fail. So if you're using this 2-channel amplifier, this 4-channel amplifier in a 2-channel system, you must use this load so that the other 2 channels that are not being hooked up to speakers are not going to damage the amplifier. So that is really important. Now, if you are adding another set of speakers, then you don't need this, Carlos.
Okay, so we are thinking ahead of time, right? Just like we tell you guys, any amp install, I don't care if you're doing a 300-watt amplifier or a 200-watt 4-channel, always use 4-gauge, right? We always want to future-proof it, right? We think in the future that we're constantly building on it. So yes, maybe for your factory bike locations, you only have 2 speakers, but we know you're going to upgrade, right? You're going to add a tour pack, which we have a tour pack harness that you can end up ordering, and it just plugs right in into this harness and goes right back to the tour pack. Or baglids. We have baglids, guys. Baglids that you can order just ready to paint. You get them in the Vivid Black. They come loaded already with our speakers, our Power Sport 6x9. Everything is just plugged right in. What's really cool about those baglids too is they have a steel bracket that holds the weight of the speaker. Now, most of these speakers, most of these baglid kits, you got to cut out the baglids, and I've seen some guys that are cutting these baglids, and they should not even be holding an X-Acto knife. They shouldn't be holding a table knife, right, or a butter knife. And they're cutting baglids, they're expensive baglids for these bikes. So let's try to eliminate all that. And when these guys cut these baglids, most of these baglid kits, you got to load them from the bottom, which weighs down that top of that baglid, and it starts sagging, right? Especially bikes aren't exposed to the sun, right? So they're not out in the open. What happens with plastic when it gets exposed to the sun? It starts warping and changing figures, right? Yeah. So with the weight of a speaker, especially these guys want to buy a heavy speaker that says 850 watts. In reality, it's only handling 20 watts, okay? But they say these huge wattages on there, they're so heavy, that baglid starts sagging. What's cool about our bracket is it holds the weight of the speaker, so you're not going to have that problem sagging. And the speaker loads from the top, so you're not going to have any issues of water coming into your bag. Another cool thing about that steel bracket that goes across, it's also going to hold the integrity of the baglid. So you can open and close it for years. I mean, Joe's had them for years. Not a problem. It's going to close every single time. You're not going to sit there and try to squeeze it to try to make it work. It's going to work every single time, guys. All right, move on to your PS speakers.
Speakers. So the Power Sport speakers that are included in the kit, you'll notice, Stephen, if I can get a close-up real quick, I want to show the customers, listen to me like I'm on a retail sales floor. I want to show the audience, the Power Sport speakers are specifically designed for this application. Now you'll notice the motor structure is pretty small, pretty compact. That's because we're using a neodymium motor structure, neodymium magnet on this speaker. And the reason we're doing that is when we first developed our original motorcycle speakers, we were working closely with Harley Davidson. And one of the most important lessons they taught us is you do not want to start adding weight above the center of gravity on a motorcycle. Carlos, why don't you want to add weight to the steering wheel or to the handlebars of your motorcycle?
There's a lot of different reasons. So you affect the handling of the bike, right? So most of these guys, I don't think I met a Harley guy that just gets on his Harley to go to work 5 minutes from home, right? Or maybe just go buy some groceries, right? Most of these guys that own Harleys or bikes, they want to ride for a while. So imagine if you got a heavy fairing now because you added those heavy speakers on there, it's going to affect the ride of it. When you hit a pothole, God forbid, you don't ever want to hit a pothole on a motorcycle. But if you hit a pothole or you're in Oklahoma and a deer just runs out in the middle of nowhere, it's what is it?
Gravel.
Gravel, yeah. The gravel jumps out here in Oklahoma. But you don't want to have any of those issues, right? Another issue I saw at a car audio shop, the customer or the installer just finished putting 6 6x9s in a fairing of a bike. I mean, he customized the fairing. It was a bike that didn't have a fairing, but he customized the fairing, put 6 6x9s, but those heavy 6x9s, right? What happened the moment the guy put it or parked it? The weight of the bike or the weight of the front end put that bike on the ground. You don't want that. That's the last thing bike guys want, is their bike being laid on the ground. So the less weight you can add to a bike, the better.
Another point about these speakers is they are voiced specifically for motorcycles. Now, what does that mean exactly? If you put a traditional car audio speaker on a motorcycle, in the parking lot, it probably sounds pretty good.
When you're washing your bike.
Yes, but now you're doing 75 miles an hour and you're wearing a helmet, suddenly you don't hear anything because that car audio speaker is not voiced for that environment. So these speakers, if you listen to them side by side with our car speakers, you'll be like, whoa, that sounds completely different. It's not as balanced. That's because this speaker is specifically designed for 75 miles an hour, open air, wearing a helmet. So the mid-range is able to cut through the wind noise, the motor noise, the pipe noise, and you can still hear the music loud and clear. So would you put these in a car? Probably not. But on a motorcycle, they're perfect.
So they're not car audio speakers painted gray, right?
That's right.
Actually,
That's
pick those up again, or pick it up again, Aaron. This is the previous version of the 6.5. You guys notice the difference on it? This one's going to be a little bit bigger. So in order for these to fit in the newer bikes, you'd have to get an adapter. Well, we took all that extra work out and just redesigned that speaker so that you don't require an adapter now. It fits just right.
Direct drop in, yep.
Something else in the back, you can look at the gasket on there, is going to avoid water coming in to the fairing itself. So it's going to protect that fairing, making sure you're not getting ingress water, protect that amplifier, protect that radio.
It's a good point, because once the speaker's installed properly, it can get wet all day, all night long, and it's not going to affect the speaker performance at all. And as Carlos said, the water's not going to pass through inside the fairing.
And again, guys, we talked about tour packs with this four-channel amplifier to add on a tour pack, add a bag lid, or the KMXLs on the lowers. Those KMXLs scream, guys.
Man. Well, and speaking of which, we have a new KMXL grill, which, let me pull up an image of it here. We have a new KMXL grill specifically for power sports. So if you want the performance of our Marine KMXL 6.5 inch, but you want it in your power sport application like your Harley Davidson, we now offer a grill as a standalone part to make that look perfect.
So it doesn't look like a Marine speaker trying to pose as a motorcycle speaker. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Actually,
and oh, here we go. Okay, Ernie, can you pull up my laptop real quick? So this is the grill we're talking about. So this grill works with the KMXL 6.5. You simply unscrew the horn, take off the factory installed grill, put the new grill on, and screw the horn back in, and now you've got the Power Sports version of the KMXL. So it definitely looks more Harley-like, it looks more sleek as opposed to the boat setup. So that is also available now, and as you can see on our website, those are $59. 4 easy installments of $15 if you are pay now or pay partly now, and whatever that pay, I can't remember what that's called. But anyway, enough rambling. Go ahead, Carlos.
Okay. I wasn't even listening to you, man. I don't know where the heck you even left off. Okay, so the grills. In the words of our old friend Ken Bundy, those grills are drop dead sexy, guys. Those grills look great. I mean, even in a boat, you could use those grills on a boat. They just look classy. They look beautiful, and they go great with those speakers. Those are actually probably some of my favorite speakers. Now, Aaron, let's talk about the Kicker TW1s. I'll leave that in front of the box there.
So while he's unboxing these, I got to tell you, we have already sold out of the TW2. The TW2 is the step above the TW1, and they've already sold out on our website. And if you can find some at one of our retail partners, go ahead and buy it, because we don't have any, and we're not going to have them for a couple of months. The TW1 is available, but in limited quantities. So go ahead.
Well, what's funny is there is no stop call tech support tag on this one. All right, so that's your box. Oh. Here, do you want to show one? I'll show the other.
Oh, yes, let's do that. So, we should have practiced this, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
Oh, that's the first time they've come out too, so here, okay. Why don't you be the left ear, I'll be the right ear.
Oh, these look pretty cool, guys.
Look at that, huh?
Pretty good size. I mean, they look regular on Aaron's ear, but on my little ear, these things are huge. No, these are really cool, pretty comfortable. I like these, man.
So True Wireless, these have been around for a while. I mean, if you've had AirPods, you've had True Wireless. I've got some of the Google Pixel Buds, and I like them. But of course, with Kicker, what you're really getting is the sound quality.
Yes.
Because yes, Steve Irby does listen to these, and he wants to make sure that these have the Kicker signature sound, or the Steve Irby sound. So these are guaranteed to have fantastic performance. Of course, you get all the bass, but you still get crystal clear highs and mid-range as well. So it's the sound quality first, and then of course the feature set and a great price point to go with it. So time-wise, I got a sheet on the box here. So you get 4 hours of uninterrupted playtime without recharging, and then the case has another 16 hours of charge. So you have a total of 20 hours if these are fully charged and the case is fully charged. So basically you could fly from here all the way to LA or New York, and you would have music the whole time, so that's fantastic.
That's including the stops in Dallas?
Yes, and the walking between terminals.
USB-C charger comes included. You provide your own cube, but we give you the charging cable. I can attest to these are the W1s, right?
Yes, sir.
To the W2s, because I bought them for my kids. My daughter, she loves Aaron ever since he was in NSYNC.
Stop it.
She's a big Justin and an NSYNC fan, and she loves her music. She's got to listen to her playlist before her soccer games. You know, she gets really pumped up by it, and she's been really bummed that the $20 headphones that I buy her from Walmart, they're not cutting it for her. So when these came out, the W2s, I ordered them for her. She loves them. She's like, Daddy, if it's not Kicker, it's not bass. So she loves them, and I'm telling you, my daughter is super picky about her music, picky about her food. Remember we talked about that?
Oh, yes.
So if my daughter loves them, they got to be great. She also uses them to play Fortnite on her Switch.
Nice.
Nintendo Switch. So work on your phone, work on your Switch. You like video gaming, this is a really good solution for you guys. And they're tiny. I mean, this charger is tiny. It's pretty cool. I use Apple AirPods, and I see a lot of guys that love the AirPods, but they say the only downfall is they're white. I wish I could get black ones. There you go, man. It's a really nice solution.
Well, another thing that I like about these is that because they're very inexpensive and they sound great, is that you can have a couple of pair. So for me, I keep one in my car because in the mornings I do a lot of journaling, and I go to a coffee shop and I like to listen to some music while I'm journaling. So I've got a pair in my car. I got a pair in my backpack because when I'm traveling, I got to have some in my backpack. I used to go to the gym, but you can tell I don't do that anymore. But when I had a gym bag, I actually put a pair of these in the gym bag too. So it's good to have extra pair laying around. And earlier I did say that the TW2s are out of stock, but someone is going to win a pair tonight. So Jeremy does have a small supply, so someone is going to win some TW2s tonight. So be sure, actually I guess the contest has ended, so someone's going to win some tonight.
All right,
so I think that's all the products, right?
That is all the products.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of questions. I'm sorry, we've been ignoring your questions. I apologize, we've kind of been on a roll. Let's do some questions. First question, 25 Hertz, good evening, thank you for being here. Any new loaded 12 enclosures coming soon? New loaded 12s, I think the newest loaded 12, we've got the Comp C, the new Comp C loaded enclosure. That's been shipping for a couple of months, but I would say that's the newest one with the exception of the new truck specific for is it the GM that's got the 12s in it? Or is it the Ram? I think it's the Ram. One of the new truck specific L7T preloaded enclosures does come with 12s in it, and I want to say it's the Ram.
See what happens when you step on the phone book?
So yes, to answer your question, coming soon, yes we do. Thanks for the question.
The 12 is going to be for GM.
The 12 is a GM, okay,
yes.
So the GM and the Sierra and the GM pickup, you're going to have that dual 12 loaded. So thank you. Great question.
The Chevy?
I can't say that. Get away with it.
It's a Silverado, man.
Neil, good evening. Thanks for being here. 2011 Ram truck. Any new products in sub designs? 2011. Is 2011 Ram on that? Carlos is looking it up right now.
Yes.
It is. Oh, we've
1500 Q. It's
Yes.
the accent, guys. I'm fighting over the accent here.
So the 2011 Ram
1500
pickup,
crew cab.
Yeah.
Why can't I read that? Q cab. Crew cab.
maybe I'll just shut up and let you talk.
Sorry.
So yes, we've got a new preloaded L7T loaded enclosure coming for your pickup. So that'll be out in the next couple of months. And oh, side note, we got to hear one in Joe Gross's pickup. He's got the Ram version. Wow, it's incredible. And we've got a Key 501 amplifier, which is about half the rated power, and it slams. It's unbelievably great. So yeah, we've got a solution for you. Next question.
Can't wait to see when Myers gets one. What he's going to do with it. How many LEDs will he add on?
You take this one. I'm going to drink some
Thoughts
water.
on putting the KMXL 6.5s inside a 2019 Suburban? I do mobile installs, and client already bought these monsters and wants them installed. Wow.
Oh, is that going to fit?
He's going to have to make it fit, right?
Yeah, so personally,
It's a lot of customization.
if you can make it fit, absolutely, because the performance is unreal. One of the nice things about the KMXL is we're using that Trackchicks geometry horn, and because of that, these speakers sound fantastic whether you're close to them or far away. So even inside the Suburban with the doors closed, you're going to get loud, clear music. But then if you open the doors for the party atmosphere, you're going to be able to hear that thing a block away. So yes, absolutely. If you can get them to fit, get it in there. And remember, they like a lot of power. The 6-inch, what is it, 6 I think is 75 or 100 watts RMS. So give them as much power as you've got, and you'll be very happy with them.
So one thing I want to touch on that, though, just because they're loud doesn't mean they don't sound good. They're very musical. That's something I really want to make sure you guys understand. There's a lot of speakers that are loud, but it's like some people's mother-in-laws. Just because it's loud doesn't mean you want to hear it for a very extended time, right? They can be a little fatiguing, right, to the ear. So just because it's loud doesn't mean it sounds that great. So this is what Aaron's talking about. You see the size on it. I mean, this is a monster. So what's really cool about these, if you guys don't know about this, which I'm sure we've touched on, these took the KMTC technology and we miniaturized it. Instead of having them in a huge can, we had applications where customers wanted to put them somewhere in a factory coax location. So what makes these really special, not only can they handle quite a bit of power, but you're sharing the I want to say the magnet.
horn and the mid-range.
Yes.
Same motor.
The motor structure is being shared for the horn and the mid-range. So it's a very compact design that's very efficient, and it dissipates heat very, very well. Again, which makes it a little heavy. So you got to make sure, if you're going to put them in a door somewhere, you got to reinforce it, make sure it's not going to rip that door panel off.
So this is the 6x9. The question was about the 6.5, but it's the same basic design, just in a different package. Great question. Thank you, Stephen, for bringing that up.
How
Next
does
question.
the Todd pot attach? Really good question. Do you have one open?
Yeah, let me grab that.
So it's a screwed-on nut. It's just a plastic nut. Trying to think of a simple.
So if you've got your panel, let's just say your A-pillar. You've got your A-pillar, so you need to, of course, drill a hole in there. Yeah, right there. Okay. So then, this is the side that's going to rest against the outside of the panel, and then this nut bolts on, and you're simply going to sandwich the two, and it's going to hold itself against that panel, just like that. So then once you've got that mounted, now you've got the articulation of the ball mount, which, since I didn't loosen this up, I'm not going to break it off. But there's 2 screws in here. You loosen those screws, and then you can use the ball adjustment to get the right articulation for the proper aiming of the tweeter, and then tighten it down, and it's good to go. Great question. Thank you. Next up.
I know the answer, but why do I ask it? No, but why these over the key products, or why choose one over the other?
Oh, KPXs, yeah.
Actually, really good question. Okay, so key amplifiers, key versus a KPX. Basically, if you look at it, it's the chassis of a key amplifier. The KPX is the same chassis as a key amplifier. The reason why you wouldn't use a key amplifier over the KPX is, one, the weatherproofness, right?
Yeah, KPX is...
So these are weather resistant where the keys are not. The key also has that built-in DSP, which these do not. We've taken them out of there. So I mean, it's a really good question. I mean, it's something that we've posed to some of the engineers. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons why, but those are my first two, and I think are the most major ones that I would mention. Anything you would add on to it?
Well, that's really it. If you need the DSP, then you need the key technology. If you don't need DSP, then the KPX is a great way to go. So really, that's what it comes down to, that and the weather resistance.
And actually, it goes to another point. Like I told you, we just did that MVP in Louisville, and it was with one of our wholesale distributors that they sell stuff for motorcycles. So we were talking about the Harley kits and all, and one guy came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I see you guys have a lot of Harley compatible products. You have a lot of power sports products. How do I get class for DSP?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" "I like to use DSPs. Some of the bike shops are using DSP now, and I'd like to get training on it. And what do you guys have for DSP right now?" So I explained to him, right now we don't have anything in that area for a bike. But in reality, I'm like, why do you want to do that? I mean, are you into audio, or are you just like, just a gearhead? He's like, "Well, I build bikes. I'm sure everybody loves audio, but I'm not really into audio. I don't really do a lot of installs, but my customers are asking for it." So I had to explain to him, you know what, it's great that you want to get into this. It's, we have great products for it, but instead of trying to learn a DSP, which if you're not a gearhead or if you're not an audio guy that's really into DSPs, it's something you can really mess up. And he's like, "Well, yeah, I sell really expensive bikes, like at 60 grand at a time." Wow. So I'm like, well, and then you sell a DSP with it, and if it doesn't sound right, that customer's going to be pretty upset. Yeah. So what I explained to him is, use our kits, get a techno research programmer, go to the website and download the kicker tune. And so as we're talking about it, some other guys from shops came by and like, "Oh yeah, you should definitely do that. We use the kicker tune all the time. We don't always use kicker products in our bikes that we sell or that we work on, but we use the kicker tune just because it gives you more options on there. So it opens up the fader, gives you a lot more control." And that's because, like we said, we got Joe Gross working on that, who is a gearhead, a Harley guy, that he just wants to give the best solutions for that kind of customer. It's what he would have in his bike. It's not like, "Oh, this tune will work for you. This EQ curve will work for you." It should work, but let me sit there and listen. No, it didn't work. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So we had the right guy working on it.
Actually, that's a good point. We didn't talk about earlier with the kits, the Harley kits. If you are upgrading the audio system from a stock Harley radio, be sure and flash the radio first, or get a techno research to deprogram and reprogram that radio. Because no matter what audio kit you add, if you don't first flash the radio, you're not going to get the results you're looking for.
Right.
So be sure and check that out. Next question. El Fuego, good evening.
That means the fire.
The fire. Okay, maybe you should take it. Go ahead.
Kicker's latest amplifier releases have been targeted at the UTV market, while the Q Class and KX series for car audio has been discontinued for years. When will Kicker get the new car audio amps?
What a great question.
No Nintendo.
Next question. So thank you, El Fuego. That is a great question. And because I'm in a leadership role here at Kicker, I get to sit through a lot of meetings, and we talk a lot about your exact question. And I will tell you that we have some fantastic car audio amplifiers coming. I can't talk too much about them now because Joe Hobart would slap me in the back of the head just like that. So just know that they are coming. Next question, please. Oh, regulated power supply. Good question. So we've talked about start-stop technology for quite a few years now, and the KPX amplifiers are start-stop compatible. And what that means is that if you're using them in an application where a car that shuts down at a red light and then restarts and you let your foot off the brake pedal, the amplifiers are stable down to 6 volts. So the amplifier will not shut down and then start again when the car shuts down and restarts. So these are start-stop compatible. In terms of regulated, so they are loosely regulated, which means you're still going to get power even at that 6 volts. It's going to be reduced power, but you're still going to get output from the amplifier. So yes, they are loosely regulated. Good question.
Actually, I like how you worded that, loosely regulated. That's perfect. What is the difference between TSW1 and TSW2? 1 and 2. No, TSW1 is going to be a little bit longer. I'll pull it up here.
The mouthpiece a little bit longer. The battery life in the 2 is, I think it's 24 hours versus 20 hours. So it's a little bit more battery life because they're a little bit physically larger. And you also have the most important difference, in my opinion, is the environmental noise canceling, ENC. So ANC, active noise canceling, ENC, environmental noise canceling. The environmental noise canceling is important because this allows the person to whom you're speaking at the other end of the phone to hear your voice clearly. So what it's doing is it's listening to ambient noise and it is blocking out those ambient sounds so the person you're talking to just hears your voice and nothing else. The TW1 does not have that feature. The TW2 does have that feature. That's the main difference. That and the battery life on the 2 is longer. Good question, Andy. And I'm sorry?
Fit style, that one's like a first-gen AirPod. The next ones are like the latest AirPods.
Okay, so Stephen, Stephen, the 1 is like the first-gen AirPod, yep, and the 2 is like the second-gen AirPod. Not sure what that means, but thank you.
For fit style.
For fitment. Okay,
I mean, if you come over here and explain a little bit better, I'll get you another autograph.
Good question, Andy. Thank you. Next question.
Can I use KPX amps in my car? Absolutely.
Yes, you can. And like
if you're limited on space?
Yes, the space is great. Start-stop compatibility, and you get real power. It's real kicker power. So yes, absolutely, you can use them in your car. Good application.
So, not just space, but I mean, if you're a shop and that's all you have in your inventory, why not? Absolutely. Yeah. And again, you can continue to build on these, like what we say, future-proof. And that's why most of our, or all of our other amplifiers will have 40-volt input, so you can go straight from that signal coming out, yes, to that bigger amplifier if you wanted to continue building on it. So actually, really good question. Talk about stuff that we didn't think about talking about.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Next question. Classic car prefab boxes. Oh, so if I understand correctly, you're wondering about prefab boxes for specific classic cars. Now, of course, we can't design a full line of enclosures for every classic car, but we do have a lot of enclosures that'll work in a classic vehicle. My current favorite are the TRTP down-firing enclosures. These are the ones that you've, well actually, Carlos, can you get off your soapbox for just a minute here?
Oh, it looks short again.
So this is what we're talking about. These are the down-firing enclosures. This one is not the TRTP. This is the Comp VT. But what's nice about these is they work in virtually any application. And because they're down-firing, you can put stuff on top of them.
You can put me on top of it.
This guy on top of it. Your groceries, your golf clubs, your baby stroller, whatever it is can go on top of it, and it doesn't change the performance at all. So these work in virtually any application, and the TRTP version has a second passive radiator, so it gives you the output of a ported box, but in a much smaller, sleeker package. So great big bass performance, small package, and they work in virtually any vehicle. So yes, classic car prefab boxes, we got a grip of them. And the Key 500.1 amplifier, thanks Ernie, the Key 500.1 amplifier is the perfect amp for 17 different models of preloaded kicker enclosures. So basically, take a Key 501 and then choose whichever prefab box fits in your application, and you've got the right solution.
Get my box
Look
back.
at that. Gotta love having Steven on staff.
He really wants another autograph.
This is the TRTP that I was just raving about. So I've got the 10-inch version of this in my Mazda CX-5, and this is a fantastic performer. So you've got the active subwoofer here, the Comp RT subwoofer, and then the passive radiator here. And the passive radiator is what gives you that big bass performance like a ported box, only it's in a small sealed enclosure. So this would be what I would recommend if you've got the space for it. This comes in 8, 10, or 12 inch. And if you've got room for 2 of them, put 2 of them in there. You get more bass out of 2 of them.
Kicker torta, remember?
What?
So our guy in Northern California, he sent me a video of, he did, I think it was an HRV with 2 of these, because the customer was like, man, it sounds great, but I'd like to get some more. So he's like, all right, we'll stack it up. He put another one on top of it and called it a kicker torta. And he sends me the video of it because the roof is like brrr, brrr. And it was hilarious because the guy like turns around and is like, hey, it slaps, kicker, hey. Yeah, it's my cousin, man.
Oh, gosh. That's good stuff. Okay, next question, please. James, good evening. Any marine updates? CAMTC 9 or 11 updates? Carlos, what do we got?
Nothing right now.
1501.
Oh, yeah. KXMA 1500.1 sub amplifier. It's actually pretty new, it is new. What's really cool about it, obviously a bass amplifier or marine bass amplifier with that much power, so you can get all the bass you want out of it. It's got a bass knob. Does it work with the CXARC?
It is not. It is an RJ11 connection, but it comes with the specific bass knob. So the new KXMA 1501 comes with its own bass knob. It does use the RJ11, which is like a phone jack kind of plug-in.
But it's going to be a more secure connection, more safer connection rather than just the CXARC.
Yep,
which is still a good connection, but it's probably not what you want in the marine atmosphere.
Right. So yeah, that's new and coming up. And without saying too much, before coming into the studio tonight, I was walking through the acoustic lab area, and I did see some really cool marine products that we can't yet talk about. So more to come, and you'll be pleasantly surprised with what you see in here.
Is that a teaser?
No.
What you call a teaser?
No, it's not. Next question, please.
Are we getting full function DSP yet? We need one for those 3-ways.
Yeah, next. Just kidding. So the short answer is no, we don't yet have a solution for what you're asking for. However, you could use a key 200.4 in a bi-amp application. You could use 2 channels to run the 6x9 or 6.5, and use the other 2 channels to run the 2 3/4 inch and 1 inch tweeter. So you could do a 2-way active system with that application, that amplifier, but a 3-way, no, not yet. Thanks for asking. It is on the list of things to add. We got a couple more minutes. Another question. Higher sensitivity, the easier to make speaker louder. Ah, okay. I have a Q-Class QS series. Should I use KS series instead? So this is a great topic. A couple weeks ago, Jacob and I were in Joplin, Missouri, and we were doing a kind of like an exposition training for some tech school kids, high school kids. And one of the things that we showed them was we took a set of QS 6x9 speaker, coax speaker, and then next to it we had the Street Series tweeter and 7-inch mid. And we did an A-B comparison. And what we were demonstrating was sensitivity. And quite simply, a speaker with a higher sensitivity rating is going to play louder with the same amount of power than a speaker with a lower sensitivity rating. So in this particular example, the Street Series played definitely louder, much louder, with the exact same amount of power, and that's because they're more sensitive. So sensitivity does not mean that it sounds better. It doesn't mean that it's going to play louder under all circumstances. It just means with a given amount of power, it is going to play louder than something that is less sensitive. So to answer your question more directly, personally, if you've got the QS series components or coaxes, I would keep those versus the KS because they are a more refined sounding speaker and they will handle more power. So that's my opinion. What do you think?
QS are great. I love them. I even love the coaxes. They were super efficient.
Fantastic.
And they handled quite a bit of power. We were surprised at how much they handled and sounded great. KS are also really great speakers. I mean, if you have QS, keep the QS.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is, yes, the QS are a little bit more refined. I would say you're paying for a little bit more technology, but they both sound great. They do the job. I mean, they'll handle the power you want to put to them.
Now, one caveat before we move on. If you have the three-way factory system and you've got space, I would move from the QS to the KS three-way component, because now you're adding 2 more cones, 2 more mid-range drivers.
More area.
So you're actually going to get more output from those. And because the 2 3/4 inch go on the dash, it's going to bring your sound stage up higher, which is always a plus. So hopefully that helps. One more question, and then we're going to go through the rest of what we needed to get done tonight. Choke change. That's fantastic. How's it going? Can 2 pairs of powered Bluetooth cans get wired for stereo sound and not all single channel? 2 pairs of our BT cans. Yes.
Through aux.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so they each have an aux in and an aux output. The best way to do it is just going from, find your cans, your first cans, and then go from aux out to aux in at the second cans. Unfortunately, I think what you're trying to ask is, can I pair them up Bluetooth once or at once? The answer is going through aux in, but you can't Bluetooth them together, broadcast mode like you would on the power bars. But
Right.
So you can make them work together. You just can't pair them Bluetooth at the same time.
You'll have the primary pair, which will be set up and connected to your phone, and then the secondary pair will just be running off of the primary. So yes, it'll work, and it'll sound fantastic. Great question. All right, so that's our questions for the night. We've got a couple picks to show you. Let's start with the lovingly called fail picks. Now, once again, if this is you, please don't take it personal. We're all just laughing together, not at you, but together. And we all got to learn sometime. Ernie, let's put up the first picture here. So
It's my car.
It's not your car. I've been in your car. I like to call this upfront bass, because with this subwoofer in front of the gear shift, you'll definitely have great bass response at the front of the vehicle, which is always great. And the 6x9 being mounted in that particular orientation, it's going to be more of a mid-range driver, not so much a mid-bass driver. So
It's
yeah,
free air,
there you go.
right?
It is definitely free air. So yeah, okay, next fail. Now at dinner we had to figure out what exactly this was, and I think JW is right. I think this is actually a coffee, a Folgers coffee container with the speaker taped into it. And then if you look at the port over here, it looks like there's some more electrical tape that is actually helping to hold this in its position.
Well, I think that's a race car, man, because look at that spare tire. It's a
Yeah.
it's a slick.
Yeah, a slick. Yes, it is a drag slick, absolutely. And then our third and final, please, please, please don't do this. This is a piece of maybe a gum wrapper aluminum foil in place of a fuse. And you can see the fuse holder itself has already melted a bit. So that means you're drawing enough current to melt the plastic. So you're not protecting anything.
That's just temporary, man.
Yeah, let's not do this, please. So there's our fails. Now for our cool pick, this is really special. This was sent in, whoops, I went back too far. This was sent in, Mr. Tom Chen sent this to us, and this is a beautiful install. Now here's the car. Go ahead, Ernie, pop that up. Here's the car. And I had to ask the guys at dinner, say, what is this car? Because I couldn't tell by looking at it. What is it, Carlos?
Infiniti G35.
G35, looking really good. Now check out this vintage install. Okay, now ignore those speakers, because those are, I think, maybe Pioneer 4-way, a 4-way 6.5. Sure. But check out the trunk of this car.
Those Texas plates?
Look at that. These are the original SX, the original DSP kicker amplifiers. So these amplifiers had built-in digital signal processing, and they were just too far ahead of their time.
Hold on, Aaron.
What?
I think those are KX painted like.
Really? They're
Yeah.
not?
No, because you don't have a display on them.
You're right.
No display, no buttons, just the gain.
I was fooled. Okay, thank you, Carlos. I stand corrected. So those are
I'm not even
KX
wearing my
series.
contact.
So this is a beautiful install and all vintage gear. Back when the Stinger capacitors were the thing to have, and they've got that great little display up there. So thank you, Mr. Chen, for sending in that ride. That is a nice
really
looking
cool.
car.
Got Lambo doors too.
Oh, you're right.
Man, when I grew up,
Wow. So yeah, cool. Thanks for those pics. Appreciate that.
when I grew up, I'm
So
gonna be
we've
taller.
got some events coming up, and we want to talk about what is happening. Let me find, where's my events stuff.
Start with Miami Boat Show.
Why don't you tell us what that is?
Miami Boat Show. It's going to be in Miami Beach. I don't know why they always send me, but we have a great time there. So it's a really big show. It's probably the world's largest boat show. So we're going to have a lot of vendors, a lot of boat builders out there. It's great because you're going to have guys looking to buy boats. You also have guys that, you know, just local people from Miami coming in looking at stuff, because we partner up with a guy, El Capitan. I don't know if we're doing it with him this year, but we partner with him, who has a retail store. He's actually one of the best known Miami retailers, and he sells a ton of kicker. So he just sells through, we sell with him through his booth. We get a lot of customers coming in. We get guys from South America. I think last time I told you, a guy from Ecuador went out to buy a huge Boston whaler that he was going to turn into a restaurant on the water. So I'm like, oh, how are you going to get it here? Oh, or how are you going to get it home? He's like, we're taking it home. Like after the show's over, we're putting it on the water and we're going home with it. So he bought, I think he spent probably about 10 grand just on speakers, amps, all the equipment, and he took it home with him. So it's a really cool show. We get a lot of really good contacts, talk to a lot of people. We expose a lot of people to the brand as well that didn't know that we were there. They're just used to buying yachts. And like, oh, I can buy a really good sound system? Oh, yeah, let's just 10, 20 grand. Yeah, here.
So can regular people that don't own yachts go to this show?
Absolutely. There's stroller day usually. It's the last day we call it stroller day because they open it to the public, and you get a lot of people coming through there.
That's cool.
A lot of local people that do business in the marine world go. I mean, it's a really fun show, very well attended. I don't know what else to say about it. It's great. If you're in Miami, we'll see you there. If you've never been there, try to go.
So we also have LST, Lone Star Throwdown, coming up in Conroe, Texas. And the same weekend, Steve Barber's Vegas Showdown is happening. So 2 events in the same time frame. And, well, of course, they're not close together, so that's fantastic. But LST, we're going to be there in force. We're going to have, JW, is the XRV going to be there? Okay, so the Kicker XRV is back on the road and running. It's going to be at Lone Star Throwdown. And actually, I think John Myers is going to attend that show. So if you want to get an autograph from As Seen on TV John Myers, he'll be there. Steven will be there, JW, I'm guessing Bill Frog. A bunch of Kicker folks are going to be there. And then Steve Barber's event, we are sponsoring that, so that's going to be a great show as well. And of course, Steve is going to be doing some Kicker demos, so be sure to check that out. Also, the MasterTech Expo, we already talked about that this evening, but we want to remind you MasterTech Expo is coming up, and that's open to the general public as well. So if you want to take your abilities to the next level, that is where you want to be. And of course, lots of arena cross going on. We are doing arena cross almost every weekend between now and I think Christmas. So definitely check out arena cross for one in your area. Those are a good time. So that being said, let's give away some stuff. We got some winners. Now to remind you, the first place winner tonight gets the BF100, gets the t-shirt, gets the 2 koozies, and Veloster?
No.
I'm sorry, Brian, if you're
Velocity.
watching. Velocity, you're getting that template from Brian as well. So the first place winner, you're getting all the Kicker Normal prizes plus the Velocity. So we got a first place winner, Bill. Who do we got? I'm so excited to give away. I'm sorry. The third place winner. Third place winner, you get EB400s, the 2 koozies, the t-shirt, and you don't get the Velocity.
Bill, you just ruined his flow, man.
I ruined my flow. Okay, so who's the third place winner tonight? Logan M from Texas. Logan, woohoo! Third place winner, Logan. Be sure to give us your name, address, and phone number. We're going to send you some fun stuff. So that's the third place. Second place winner, now I have to take a look at my notes because second place winner gets the TW2s. So second place winner, you get the TW2s. Again, those are the new ones. Those are the ones that are not in stock.
Not
the
these.
JW's got some. That's right. You also get the 2 koozies and the t-shirt. So who's our second place winner? Aaron D. from Michigan. Aaron. Now, E-R-I-N. I am A-A-R-O-N, so I'm assuming you're a lady. Aaron, thank you very much for being here tonight.
Do not assume.
I just said I'm going to, but maybe, I don't know. Aaron D. from Michigan, you are second place winner. So now, first place winner. Now the first place winner. Who is that, Bill? Who's our first place winner?
LET.
LET from California. LET from California, you're the first place winner. You get that Velocity setup from our friend Bryan Schmitt. You also get the Bullfrog, not Bill Frog. You get the Bullfrog, the t-shirt, and of course 2 koozies. So thank you for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a lot of fun. The after show is happening. We called Andy just before dinner time, and Andy's going to do an after show tonight. So please stay tuned with Andy. And next Tuesday at 7:30, we're going to have Kicking It with Andy. Since we're going to be off, Andy's going to be doing his program. We want you to check that out. And of course, he's on YouTube, Facebook, and I think, Andy, you on Instagram too? Are you doing Instagram? And then the next time we'll be on the air is Tuesday, February 20th. So after Valentine's Day, so take care of the ladies, take care of your significant other, then come back on the 20th, hang out with us on a Tuesday night. So Carlos, any final thoughts?
Wait, it's over? We didn't even get Tito on.
Tito? Cousin Tito?
Cousin Tito came, well, maybe next time. Sorry, guys.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here. Good night.
It was fun.